All right, how is everybody tonight? Bob's back again, Biker News Canada, and like I said earlier on in the month, I'm going to try to keep us going through the winter with content, with great interviews from different riding clubs and motorcycle associations, whatever you want to call them. And I'm really excited about this one. This is a very big club. They've got members all the way through the United States and all through Canada, and we're going to talk to a member from the Windsor chapter of the Southern Cruisers Riding Club. So without any further ado, let's welcome up Markus. Thank you, Markus, for coming.
Hey, thanks, Bob. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, no problem. So like I said, as far as I understand, the Southern Cruisers is a pretty big riding club, yeah?
Yeah. It actually started back in the mid 90s with one chapter out of Memphis, Tennessee. Our founder, Rick Perry, and kind of grew from there. And then in 1999, the first Canadian chapter was open. And we have over 50 chapters just in Canada now. And
Wow.
quite over 30,000 members, I think, globally was the last count that I saw. So absolutely
So
huge
globally,
riding club.
when you say globally, that means it's outside of America as well.
Yep. There's, I believe, in Europe, there's a couple of Southern Cruisers chapters as well.
That's really cool. Now that's what I love. See, I was a one percenter way back in. I retired in 2002, so a long time ago. And the increased popularity of riding clubs just blows my mind.
Yeah. I think one of the things, I mean, of course, Sons of Anarchy, I think, put a lot of people onto motorcycle riding in general. But then the idea with a lot of the riding clubs is you can ride anything as long as it maintains highway speeds. Like with us with Southern Cruisers, we don't care if you ride a Harley or an Indian or a Goldwing or a Yamaha or anything like that, as long as it can maintain highway speeds and you like to have a good time. We you know we accept all makes and models. So, and it's really a family oriented club, which is nice. Like
That's
you
what I
can,
love.
you can, whether you're a husband, a wife, whatever, you can be a member, you can be an officer within the club. You can hold a road captain, tail gunner position, whatever. I remember when I joined, my wife was not 100% sold on, being part of it. And inside, after getting out and meeting the people and everything, now she's got her own bike. She rides with us. She's a full member. And eventually
And
I'm going
that's
to
the
try to
other
talk
thing.
her into becoming a road captain.
It's men and women. That's the other thing,
Yeah.
right? You won't get that in a 1% club, or at least not to my knowledge. I can't speak
Yeah.
for everybody. But see that, and I think, like you said, the Sons of Anarchy thing, and that's kind of part of the reason why I do this channel is so hopefully we'll get some people that aren't motorcycle riders catch an episode, and I try to drum through the point that just because you're a biker with a big set of patches and whatever doesn't mean you're there looking for crap, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're, our club especially, we're just a bunch of teddy bears. One of our road captains, Mary, she likes to point out, there she is there actually. She likes to point out that we're a eating club with a riding disorder, because we just love to, you can see as we're rolling down the road and we drive by an ice cream shop, and you just see all the heads turn like, what do you mean we're not stopping? Why aren't we stopping? So and to answer Mary's question, how many Harleys did I own in my first year of being part of the Southern Cruisers? The answer is 5.
Oh, trick question. She knew.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah, she just wanted to get it. Yeah. I was one of those guys that couldn't. It took me a while to find the right bike. I started on a Sportster and then, kind of continuously worked my way up until I got on a big. Now I'm on a big Street Glide, and that's my bike. That is my bike for sure.
Yeah. Now, for full disclosure, I don't even have a motorcycle at this point. I had to sell mine at the beginning of the summer.
Oh, no.
Broke my little heart, but hey, there'll be another one. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? That's one thing. If you sell one and you love it, you'll find a way to get another one.
Yep, exactly.
But yeah, judging from the size of you over the camera, I couldn't see a Sporty being the best fit.
Yeah, it looked like you ever see those Russian bears in a circus?
Yeah.
Bike? Yeah, that was me. That was absolutely me on that Sportster.
In the club, we used to call it a dog effing a football.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and
Oh,
Steve's
Wayne's here
right.
too.
Yeah,
That's cool. Wayne's here. He was in a previous interview. He's a good guy.
nice.
So what else did I want to ask you? There's so much stuff I want to ask you. Now you're part of the Windsor chapter. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So
I'm the first officer of the Windsor chapter. Yeah.
is it a relatively new entity in Windsor, or has it been around
No,
for a bit?
yeah, no. We've been around for about 20 years now, and we're kind of in an active growth mode right now. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely getting out there. We've got a new officer group that have kind of all come together in the last year and a half, and really looking to drive kind of the growth of the club, and we're bringing in different ideas, and just really having a lot of fun with it. So now we have our weekly rides on Wednesdays at 6 o'clock, and that's usually like a hour and a half kind of bop around Windsor, Essex County. And then we have our half day or full day rides, or on the weekends, where we'll go out to Sarnia, or we'll go to Grand Bend, or just go somewhere for lunch kind of thing. And then we have our overnight rides, where we 3-4 times a year we'll actually pick a location, grab hotel rooms, and then ride for 5-6 hours and spend the weekend partying in a different spot. So we try to mix it up and give folks different flavors. We know not everybody can come to everything, so when we were kind of putting together our ride calendar, we really kind of focused on, well, if we kind of cast the net wide, there's going to be something for everybody, right?
So you guys see, that's the other nice thing about the difference between RC and an MC and all that stuff is it's not mandatory.
Yeah,
It
yeah. Our
it
Constitution actually states you only have to go one event per year to maintain your status as a member.
because I know as being a retired member of a 1% club, it can be expensive to become a biker and
Yes,
to stay in good standings
yeah,
and
with
all the
dues
rest.
and clubhouse fees and all of that. And yeah, Steve, you are right on both counts. Partying in Windsor is great.
Oh yeah, because he was American. So everyone from America, they think it's cheap beer. We go and we go, geez, that's a lot for a beer.
Right? Yeah, now. Yeah, especially now.
But yeah, so when you guys, because you're such a big club, I actually one of another participant of one of my other interviews is I think she lives around Mississauga, Oakville. So I think she's in the Halton chapter of the same club.
Yep.
And
Angie.
I've
Yep. I saw in your.
oh, you see, you know Angie.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, that's cool. She's a really cool person too. I like
Yeah.
her a lot.
She's great. And if you get a chance, go check out her band, Lefty and the Goons.
Yeah.
They are a ton of fun. And we've had them at a few events. We had them at our year-end bash up in Port Severn this year, and oh, what a riot! What a great event.
Port
And they,
Severn, that'd be a bit of a ride for you.
yeah, it's about 7 hours in the saddle for us, and then by the time you add your breaks and stops and lunches and stuff, yeah, it's a full day. But
Yeah.
we love it. We go there typically right after Labor Day is when we do, and we take the entire weekend, and there's bike games and field games and big dinners, and then a big party and bonfires all weekend, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So obviously, if you want to, being a member of a multi-country, multi-chapter organization, you can make yourself time it and take a bunch of guys and go to some events in the States and everything. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Very open to the idea of multi-chapter rides. Like our closest chapter here in Windsor is the Chatham Kent chapter in
Right up the highway.
they're number 312. Yeah, right up the highway. So we'll go to their rides. They'll come to our rides if they're having an event. But another thing that we do with the Southern Cruisers is we do every year a chapter gets chosen for what's called Ride of the Year, and they put on a big charity ride, and everybody from as many chapters as can make it go to this one ride. And so last year, the summer just passed here, we were actually in Niagara Falls, and chapter 238 Niagara Falls was hosting, and I think we had over 250 bikes that day, all riding through Niagara. And then the year before that was in Sudbury, so we all made the trip up there for the weekend, and did a big ride with them. So
And all them places are nice riding. There's
yeah,
nice rides down around the falls, and there's nice rides up around Sudbury.
yeah, and that's one of the reasons I love the ride of the year, because it's always a different chapter. It's always something that's, something I necessarily wouldn't do normally. Like maybe if I was going there for a weekend,
Right.
but
It's
this
kind of
is
like the national, I guess.
yeah, every chapter kind of puts together what their premier ride in their area, and so you get kind of a weekend of the best riding that area has to offer, which is always really cool.
And it's good financially for the host. It's
Yeah,
always good for the host.
yeah, and there's always a charity that we do, and they get to give some money to different charities within the region. So we're always looking to give back where we can.
Oh, that's the other thing I like about riding clubs. It's a lot of give back.
Hmm.
It's a lot of give back. I like
Yeah, yeah.
that. That's so funny. They always tell me that our guests have a Canadian accent. I think we sound exactly like Americans. We watch their TV our
Yeah,
whole lives.
we watch enough of their TV, and well, I do a lot of work with Americans, so my accent's probably a little more muted than some other people. But yeah, the charity work is. Oh,
I lost
there we
you.
are. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
All
Sorry,
right,
bro. I'm
cool.
just picking
Yeah,
my
no, all
buttons.
good, all good. The charity work that we do. So each chapter kind of works within the local community. So here in Windsor, we work. We've had worked with a few, but one that we're really kind of near and dear to our hearts is Respite Family Organization here in Windsor, working with families and children within the community. So like we have our Christmas party coming up here in the next couple of weeks, and
Good.
all the proceeds from that will be going to there. We're doing a hat and a mitten drive as part of the Christmas party. So, and the person who brings in the most mittens, socks, and hats is actually going to win a little bit of a bar tab on behalf of the club. So,
Nice. So,
help kids in the community and get to drink free for a
and,
bit. So,
that's the stuff that I've been like we discussed off air that I'm trying to promote on this channel is so I'll search around Facebook or get you to send it to me and I'll put the poster in the background and I'll talk about it because we'll have some Christmas and some Halloween stuff coming up to talk
yeah,
about for all different organizations. I put them in and make a show out of it, right?
yeah,
So
that'd be great.
how do you guys pick what charities you go through? You bring it to the table, or someone's got a personal feeling of from experience?
So typically it'll be the officer group that'll kind of talk it over and kind of come up with it. We did years before I even joined. Windsor did a ride with for Respite called Robert's Ride here in the Windsor Essex area. And so when we were kind of thinking of charities we wanted to work with as we were kind of getting the ball back up and rolling, it was kind of a natural fit for us to go back to a group that we had worked so closely with before.
I see. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
like some groups, like the Ride for Dad seems like a big thing that a whole bunch of different riding clubs can participate in.
Yeah.
Right. Which is cool. And those guys down in Leamington, they do some huge numbers for hospice care.
Oh
eh?
yeah. Hogs for Hospice is a massive event. We always make sure we have some folks that end up going there and participate where we can. Oh, the challenge coin. Yeah. So Southern Cruisers, we have a coin you can get, and on the one side it has our Canadian logo, and on the other side it has a number. And it's an old World War II tradition. So what that challenge coin is if you're out at a party or a bar or whatever, you pull your coin out and you put it down and you challenge someone. And if they don't have their coin, they owe you a round. And but if they do have their coin, then you owe them a round. So yeah, so we all have our little challenge coins as long as people aren't stealing them. And I joke.
Some guy pulls out 3.
Yeah, I joke because that did happen to me once at a party. I went for my challenge coin and I was like, where did it go? Yeah. So then it's but it's a fun little tradition that we do, and it's and we have a great time doing it. So, and you're right. The one comment there about the charity work not getting mentioned. You're exactly right. It seems a lot of times it's the you know, there's a perception, right, of people when they come showing up with
Yeah.
a vest and they have, you know, patches on and things like that. And but to, you know, 99% of the time when we're in a big group like that, it's because we're riding on a charity ride. We're doing
And
something,
whatever
right?
community you land in benefits.
Yeah.
Which again, which has been my thought process on this channel, keeping it to the charity and the good. Those are my hashtags on TikTok. You know, bikers doing good, and you know, motorcycle clubs are not gangs, and see if we can flip the narrative on the general public at some point. I don't know
Yeah.
if I'm going to get tons of subscribers because it's boring, but it's something, right? Everyone's got to
Yeah.
do what they can do.
Yeah.
And she's right. This is a very correct statement. Also,
Yeah.
bikers, they're the most generous, and I'm amazed how many different outfits I found that specifically want to help kids that are in crisis or in abusive situations, or you know, there's the Bikers Against Child Abuse, there's the Northern Mentors, there's
Guardians of the Children.
Guardians of the Children. They have a Leamington chapter also.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Do you guys get in on that thing down there? Did you help
Um,
out, volunteer?
we've chatted with them a few times. I don't think we haven't had an opportunity to kind of work with them on anything, but we've definitely kind of been in the same circles and had conversations.
Right on.
Yeah, you know,
And that's one
Steve
thing
brings
about.
up. Yeah,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I
Go
was
ahead.
just gonna say Steve brings up great point. A lot of us grew up in the scene, and you know, it's very true. Like my mom and dad were actually members of Southern Cruisers when I was a kid.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
they were members of. I lived in Niagara Falls in the Niagara Falls area, so they were part of the Erie Shores chapter, chapter 129. And so then when I got a bike, my first place I went was right to Southern Cruisers and joined because, you know, my mom and dad were members. So you know,
And you know
it
what?
does get into it. Yeah.
I usually start my interviews with that. You know, what got you into riding? How
Yeah.
did you land at the? And then we kind of jumped in the middle there. But yeah, so we may as well start. Well, you've already answered those questions.
Yeah.
So you've been riding most of your life.
Yeah, I grew up riding dirt bikes and kind of pounding around. It's funny though, my brothers were really more into it than I was. I was more the, you know, I wanted to play hockey, I wanted to play sports and that. And then, you know, as I got older, it kind of, you know, the idea kind of got better and more interesting to me, more interesting to me. And then I, you know, got a bike and that was it. That was
I was a
it.
car guy. I didn't get my
Yeah.
first bike till my late 20s.
Yeah. Well, I remember my dad, he was in like his late, he rode before and then stopped when he had kids and everything. And I remember him, he got a Honda Shadow and he was probably, you know, close to 40 by the time that he got it again. And then he still owns this bike, but now he owns a Suzuki Intruder, big 1500. And so I always kind of said to myself, you know, my dad got his when he was 40. So when I get turned 40, I'm going to get a bike kind of thing. And yeah, so and that's pretty much exactly what I did. I'll be 46 in November and yeah, and loving it. It's like one of those things my wife likes to say, you know, it's like my wind therapy. It's the, you know, I could be having the
It
worst
is.
day in the world and she's like, you are miserable. What are you doing here? And I'll go out 10 minutes on the bike. I come back, I'm a completely different person. Right.
Yeah, and you know what? That's what I miss about not having one in the garage. But the thing about having a Harley in the garage is you always know you got $10,000 if things get rough.
Yeah.
Or somewhere close, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They tend
So
to, you know, they tend to depreciate only to a certain level, right? Like
yeah,
you look, you know.
my last one was an '08 Street Glide. I bought it for 12, rode it for 3 summers, sold it for right around 9. Whatever,
Nice.
right?
Yeah,
Life
$1,000
goes
a year.
on. And
Yeah.
then save up some more money and maybe start back on a Dyna again. That one was a Street Glide, but I don't mind smaller bikes too.
Yeah. I think it depends on the type of riding you're doing. Like I had a lowrider, one of the lowrider STs, beautiful bike, fast. Oh, was it quick? But you know, we would go on longer rides and stuff, and all the guys would be getting off the big baggers, and they'd kind of, you know, do a little stretch like this and walk on, and I'm there looking like I just got out of a wheelchair. I'm like crippled, like trying to walk, and so that's when I knew I was like, you know what, I can't fight it anymore. I gotta
Yeah.
get a bike my size.
Well, you can get the highway pegs. You got the
Oh
floorboards.
yeah.
You got,
Now I got
you
it all. I
can
got it
get the
all. Yep.
backrest if you want it.
Yeah.
You got something blocking a bit of the wind. I always cut down the windshield, so it doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
I'm still catching enough of the wind. But if you're not catching wind, how do you know you're on a motorcycle?
That's right. That's very
You
true.
know?
Very true. If your beard's not flapping around, are you even riding? Yeah.
Exactly. And you know what? You did a good job of spreading the word around among your other club members. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah, we I gotta give credit to Albert, the flyer that he created there for us. And he helped create the flyer, kind of letting people know that hey, we're here, we're an option, and really kind of getting it out, and it really took off. Everybody shared it, and we had a lot of people. And then even this event, as soon as we said, hey, we're doing this interview, it got shared on different chapter pages. It got shared, on personal Facebook pages. Like everybody was like, hey, you got to come check this out. So
Just
it's really
talking
good
about
for the club as well.
just talking about Albert. I'm making sure he found us because I never saw him use the link. So I'm just gonna send him the Facebook page or the YouTube channel page link. Weird, eh?
Yeah.
I thought he was going to join you on stage. Like, yeah, that's right on. And who was the other guy that brought us together? Graham?
Graham, yeah, Graham is one of so Graham was he was part of the Norfolk chapter for a while, and then he moved to Windsor, and so he transferred over to us, and he's just been he fit in like an old shoe. It was like he's been a member of our chapter for years, and everyone just loves him. So yeah, he was the one that got you and I connected, and so that was awesome.
I poor guy, he lost his doggy just recently, didn't he?
Yeah, Max, yeah. That was sad. We loved having him on the rides. It was he was so cute, and I always get scared. Like, is the dog gonna freak out? Are they gonna um, really, kind of take to it? But he took to it like he was born on that bike. He would just stand there and just had this big smile on his face. Like for a little dog, he was just gorgeous.
And the other fellow that I mentioned, that's in the chat, Wayne, he's got a scooter, like a gas scooter, similar to a Vespa with a sidecar,
Yeah.
and a dog named Austin. And Austin goes all over the place. He reigns out of Orangeville, Ontario. He's gone as far as Niagara Falls in different places.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the
That
cool
is awesome.
thing, he took the character of the dog and everything and made some children's stories and made some children's books that are available out there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
on
that's really
Amazon.
neat.
Yeah. So if you ever think of it, go back through one of my older interviews, Wayne Sumler, and hopefully I put the link on for him. He's on Instagram and all that because I got to
Hmm.
get some books for some younger kids in my family for Christmas from him.
Nice.
We order them
That's
direct,
awesome.
and he'll sign them for us and all that. Hey, we got a question from Steve.
So I do, yes. So even when on the question of do you guys rock the patchy
Yeah.
around, we definitely do. So when we're off season, I mean, we'll go show up if we're showing up for dinner. So off season, when we're not riding, we have a monthly breakfast. We do a games night, and then we do a monthly dinner slash meeting where we kind of go over updates, talk about the rides calendar, get feedback, all that sort of good stuff. So I definitely wear my vest at any Southern Cruisers event year round. Yeah.
See, in the MC world, we had a dress shirt that had everything embroidered on it, and T-shirts, of course, right?
Yeah.
That only members had. And if in that rule about don't wear your patch if you're inside of a car, carry it,
Yeah.
take it with you, but don't wear it.
Yeah.
Is that a global thing?
I think it's more of a unspoken rule. I personally, I don't wear it when I'm in the car just because I don't find my vest comfortable to sit
Yeah.
in a car like that. But often I'll put it on. But like, I mean, we all have the same thing too. Like, I've got, Sun
Right.
Cruiser shirts, hats. We've got,
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff. So even if you're not wearing your vest, people know you're part of the club.
Do you guys got brothers and sisters across the bridge? In
Yeah, we do
Detroit?
have some Michigan. There are some Michigan chapters. There's been a few that we've gotten together with over the years. Yeah.
We used to ride from Detroit to northern Michigan, and then jump into Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, and come back around the
Yeah,
lakes.
that's a
That
good
would,
one.
it's a nice
We have
ride.
a ride we like to do, Tunnel of the Trees. So the plan is usually we'll go to a place like Grayling, Michigan, and that's where we'll get the hotels, and then so we'll ride from here to Grayling, and then stay there, and then get up in the morning, do the whole Tunnel of the Trees, the northern part of Michigan, and then come back, spend another night in Grayling, and then come home. So
Yeah, the Upper Peninsula is beautiful, isn't it?
yes, absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I like it up there. And the big bridges, the Mackinac Bridge, and all that stuff going on up there.
Yeah.
There's lots of stuff to do up there. Now, so that's interesting. So you're in Windsor, you're in Chatham, or
Hmm.
the club as a whole. London, I take it?
Yep. There's a chapter in Aylmer, just outside of London.
And then
Yep.
that's where
Albert. Yeah,
Albert said he
that's where
was from,
Drumbeat
right?
is. Yeah, and then as we kind of, you're gonna test my geography now. Yeah, but Brampton for sure. We've got two chapters in Niagara. We got Oakville, Brantford, Kitchener, uh, Cambridge, like it just kind of all along that corridor, and then you go
The 401
into
quarter.
yeah, and then you go into we got Barrie, we've got Burlington, we've got Sudbury, we've got and some of these chapters like Oakville and Toronto, they're huge.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
because they got the popular. I've been talking to Chris, I believe his name is, from the Barrie chapter. I'll give it a little bit of space in between, but I think I'm going to grab him for an interview at some point because
Yeah.
each chapter will have their own stuff to talk about, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
That's one thing, just a personal opinion thing. I was thinking about doing a hard calendar you can put on your wall of the bike nights and whatever events I can get in by a certain cutoff date.
Hmm.
You think that's worth pursuing?
I think so. Because I think it's good for. I'm a big believer in the community. So, we have our regular events with the club, but then one of the things as an officer group we've started talking about is where are the other bike nights, right? That we can
Right.
attend and that makes sense, and not necessarily from a recruiting perspective, which is always nice, but also just to be able to meet other clubs and hey, what are you guys doing, and kind of trade off ideas, or maybe get together on rides, and there's a lot of really great things. So
Well, see, and that's one thing I found. I just started this kind of in the spring last winter. And even in your city, I can think of 3 or 4 different riding clubs. And then plus some ones that like there's a fireman MC.
hmm
And then of course, there's the other clubs, the bigger clubs. So like there's tons and tons of different people that ride motorcycles down there
oh yeah
on all
I
different
mean,
parts of the spectrum.
and I think what's cool about Windsor Essex is the weather, is the fact that we I think I didn't even winterize my bike last year. I think I didn't even put stabilizer in it or anything, because every time I thought about doing it, the weather would warm up and I was able to ride.
And you guys are in the
So
warmest point of Canada.
that's right. So like we're riding, we're still doing our weekly rides right now, even though,
Oh, you haven't done
leaves
the
are
last one for the
changing.
season yet?
No, we're still riding.
That's
And
cool.
yeah, and like last year, my wife and I, we went out riding on Christmas Day. Um, it was a beautiful day. Kids opened presents and they kind of disappeared with their friends. So we hopped on the bikes and we took off for an hour or two.
Well, see, last
And
year, I've said that on a few interviews. I made sure to ride once on every calendar month of the year because it was such
yeah,
a great winter, right?
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
we,
no
yeah, Windsor,
stabilizer, no
Windsor gets you.
turbochargers, no nothing.
No, it's perfect, right?
That's
I
a good
wouldn't mind
one.
a couple more hills around here, though.
Well,
It's
yeah,
pretty flat here, man.
Windsor's flat, and there's not a ton of twisty roads that I'm aware of because I'm not
Yeah,
from there, right? I
there are
got
a
my
couple good
dogs getting
ones.
set for a walk. If you hear something in the background, crazy puppies. Yeah, it doesn't snow much in London anymore. I don't think it snows much in Windsor at all, does it?
No, I don't think we've Had to pull the snowblower out once last year. Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to really buy them anymore in winter, would you?
No, probably not. No. Hey, Paul. Let's see, Paul.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say thanks for coming to Paul. Every time I try to type on these comments, it jumps me around on weird screens over there on the other side. That's okay. We have another question from Mike. But where is it? There he is. Any club up there in Canada rides all year. I would say you guys, eh?
I would say we're pretty close. I would say Windsor's probably the closest to the 365. We don't get, like I said, we don't get a ton of snow. So, and we've gone as early. Oh, we did a ride to Chatham once in February.
A
probably
group
about
ride?
2 years ago. Yeah, we did a group ride in February. I think we had 6 or 7 of us that braved that, and then we did it. We've done as early as February and as late as some rides into December. So we'll as long as the weather holds and there's no snow or salt on the ground, we'll always get 3-4 guys out. I know I should come east for the hills.
No, where's she at? Where's Jen at?
Jen's in Ottawa.
Okay. So. Well, I would go more towards Sudbury for the hills or North
Sudbury's
Bay.
beautiful. There was some great riding there. Next year, our ride of the year is actually in Barrie, and I'm super excited for that because the whole ride the Highlands kind of thing. So
yeah,
I'm thinking I may actually either take some time off before the ride or after the ride and do that. We haven't done a polar bear ride on January 1st yet, but I love the idea. So that is something I want to bring to the guys. I'm actually going to make a note of it.
Yeah, I may as well.
Yeah.
Did you guys help with the vet run down there to the wall?
The run to the North Wall?
Yeah.
We haven't volunteered or done anything with that, but we've participated. I've actually gone every year and participated with that. It's a beautiful event. One of my favorite memories early when I started riding here in Windsor was that event because it was so cool. There was a Vietnam vet that got to ride in front of the group. So we get onto the 401 and it's kind of blocked off for us all. And I come over this hill and I just see this one lone guy riding this, chopper with all of his vest and Vietnam patches and everything on. And then behind him is the rest of the group. And there was probably 60, 70 bikes. And it was one of the coolest things I have ever seen in my life.
What time of year was that in?
That was in July. So it's usually right around Labor Day or Canada Day. Sorry, not Labor Day.
She's talking about Gatineau.
Yeah, that's where Jen is. Yeah.
Okay.
So they
Gatineau on the other side of Gatineau on the other side of the river. Is it considered Quebec?
Yes. Yep. I believe so. Jen will correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah. That was one of the coolest things I got a chance to see was just that. It was just so neat seeing that lone rider and then all of us behind him riding in a pack, right? Eddie, we're gonna have to bring it back.
May as well. Like you say, it doesn't snow too much in Windsor anymore.
Yeah.
We had one of our old members when I was in the club, and he didn't own a car. And he would go Friday afternoon on his Decker and do the stock run at the beer store. He just didn't care. He was one of them dudes, right? And you never talk shit about a guy like that.
No. No, not a fair weather rider, that's for sure.
He was out there doing it. Hey, Carney came. Very nice. Now, is it as simple as an online application to become a member of your club?
Yep. If you go to southerncruisers.ca, right in the top, you'll see a link there that says join us. And when you click on that link, it's just you fill out a form and kind of, put what chapter. And if you're not sure what chapter, they've got kind of a list there to kind of help you narrow down your chapter. And then what happens after that is the executive team will get notification that somebody has joined, and they'll send an email out, to that person welcoming them. And then usually the first officer, so in the Windsor chapter, would be myself. I send an email or make a phone call to that individual, kind of welcoming them, giving our ride calendar, here's where we meet, invite to our private Facebook group, which is where all of our communication is done. And then, if they wanted to order patches or if they wanted, anything like that, we'll organize that all in that email. So why is it called Rose City Southern Cruisers? Because Windsor is the Rose City.
And see, Welland is also known as the Rose City,
That's right.
as well.
Which is hilarious because I grew up in Welland. That's where I grew up.
Right. Yeah. You said you were from the Niagara area.
Yeah. So I actually grew up in one Rose City and then moved to the other Rose City. So
now we have someone on. Oh, we have another person that came in too. Is that Michael or Michelle Stafford? That's a Michael, right?
Yeah, Michelle.
That's a Michelle. Okay, sorry.
Hi, Michelle.
And we have someone else in the chat from Western Canada. Barbie, do they have Southern Cruisers out where you are in Alberta? I think she's in Alberta. Do they have? Are you guys out there?
We do have one in Tolford, Alberta.
Where's that?
I honestly don't know where Tolford is, but it's a newer chapter. Steve asked, "Does anyone have to prospect?" No, there is no prospecting with the Southern Cruisers. So you definitely don't have to prospect. It's just when you join and come out. We also encourage folks, if they're not 100% sure yet, come out to an event, come out to a ride, meet the people. I typically, with my chapter, we allow up to 3 rides before you have to make a decision and kind of say, yes, this is something I want to do, and yes, these are people I want to ride with, or no, I don't think it's for me. So but yeah, no prospecting situation. How long is the riding season in Canada?
Where'd you get that?
Sorry, I didn't want to forget Don's question there. So it depends really on where you're from. Like if you're in Windsor, I mean, we can ride pretty much very close to all year. And although, they've already gotten snow in Alberta, and my parents who now live in Newfoundland will tell you the riding season's about 2 weeks. So
I finally found some riding clubs in Newfoundland to try to get onto my my tape programs, right? But there doesn't seem to be, as it stands or what I've been able to find. I got to make contact like this with everybody at some point, or at least I hope to.
I think my parents live there. There's a lot of space, what I'll call it. So you end up, like my parents live just outside of Gander, and the nearest relative lives 45 minutes away in a little town called Carmenville. So I think getting groups together for rides, you're probably doing an hour to a 2-hour ride just to get to a ride, right?
Yeah. You've got to plan. You got to plan your ride home by yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And I find that we got the answer to Telford. It's close to Red Deer, which is, I believe, kind of in between Calgary and Edmonton. I think I've been to Red Deer once. I tried living in Alberta once. It just didn't agree with me for some reason.
No, I've never been farther west than Winnipeg. So
yeah, and if that was your last impression of West, you probably wouldn't want to.
That's my. It is a bucket list trip for me, though. I want to do, I want to get on the bike and head out that way if I can. So.
Well, me too, John. That's that's the only time you really like to ride. But to get on it once a month just to say you did it, it was just for that, right? I wasn't leaving the city. I wasn't.
You weren't going out. Yeah.
No, I wasn't going to Windsor.
Yeah. I was going out in the county or anything. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, man. No, this is good. We got lots of guys from the States asking some questions. That's
I love
really
it.
good.
I love it.
That's really good.
It is halfway between Calgary and Edmonton. All right,
No,
good to know.
I think I saw Brian Adams in concert out there once.
Hmm.
That random thing, right?
You didn't go out there just for the concert, though, right?
Hell no, I was trying to go to Southern Alberta Institute of Technology. Beautiful school. You wouldn't
Hmm.
believe the campus down there, indoor Olympic swimming pool,
Yeah.
because that time that they hosted the Olympics in Calgary, they built the residence buildings for that college for the Olympics. And then when the Olympics was over, then they gave them to the college to use as res buildings. So it's a
Oh, cool.
beautiful place.
Nice. I've never been to Albuquerque, New Mexico, Carney, and that is one area I would love to go. And
Me too.
so I've been to Arizona. I haven't ridden to Arizona, but I would um, love to go there one day. But New Mexico is another one I wouldn't mind checking out. Ah, Albert mentions the Clickage Cup. So this is a cool thing. So this is a national award that happens, and basically it starts April 1st and runs through to September 30th. And everybody that's participating takes their odometer reading at the beginning of or May 1st, I think, at the beginning of May, and they you at the end of it you send in your odometer reading and your um, they have a little competition, right? And you get a little magnet, and if you win for the chapter, you get a little magnet that says chapter champion, and then but it's a national of things, right? So there's actually a trophy, and you get your name inscribed on the trophy if you are the winner. And so this last year, I just looked it up. This riding season that just ended, we had 479 riders across 25 chapters that rode 3.8 million kilometers.
And that's just
In
the
that
people
time period.
that wanted to go into contest.
Yeah, in
That's
that
not
time
everybody.
period.
Yeah, and in
That's
that
not
time
everybody.
period. Yeah.
Yeah, so we like to ride. And actually, one of the things I love, and that Albert brought it up, is Albert won he is the national clickage champion with 40, keep me honest, Albert, I know it was over 40,000. Over
Wow.
40,000 kilometers in that time period. So,
Spent a lot of time in the saddle.
yeah. Yeah, we've had a few we've had a few rides, him and I. One of the first rides we had, we were coming from London. We were going to I think Sarnia, and we got caught in the rain. And so when we met up with the rest of the chapter, they show up as I'm pouring water out of my boots and standing there in my socks. And these little kids are coming over and looking at the bikes, and Albert and I are both laughing. We're like, "Oh yeah, kids, be a biker!" As I'm wringing the water out of my socks, right?
Isn't that the most fun when you're just getting on the highway and you got to go?
Yeah, you don't have a choice,
There's
right?
not no going, and it's already cats and dogs.
Yeah, you don't have a choice, especially if you're not home. It's one thing if you're, getting ready to leave and you look out and it's raining and you're like, maybe I'll take the car, right? It's
Yeah,
another
yeah.
thing to be, you know, already out, and then you're like, well, pot committed now.
What's that? Rides in the dead of winter. The heated suit. I've never tried
Ah,
those heated suits.
does it plug into the bike?
What if it plugs right in that battery plug, right? Or the cigarette lighter or whatever they used to
Yeah,
have back in the day.
I have heated grips. That's about as far as I go, but I don't have the heated suit. That's interesting. I'll have to check it out.
Now that'd be fun to ride in North Carolina. Isn't the
Oh
Appalachian
yeah,
Mountains through there?
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna look you up, Steve, if I ever get out that way, because that would be some amazing riding, I'm sure.
Now, where's the American chapters? Are they spread across everywhere, or are they kind of
Yeah,
concentrated in the north and east or
I
something?
believe they're spread out. I mean, our first two chapters were in Tennessee. We had one in Memphis. The first one in the U.S. was in Memphis, and then the second chapter was in Nashville, and and then from there it grew into Georgia. It spread into Georgia, and then it was 42,000. There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah.
Um, so it spread kind of all out. So yeah, they're all over the place.
Now, is John from your club, or did John come along with my people?
I think John came along with your people.
Oh, right on.
Want to go riding in the Bahamas or Aruba? If I could get my bike there,
You imagine?
I'm in.
Oh, and that's when Mary met Albert.
Yeah,
See,
Yeah.
We had some guys take all the fluids out of their bikes and fly them over to Europe and rode around in England.
Oh, see, now that's interesting. I know one of the Harley dealer here in Windsor, they do a big trip every year where they pack up folks' bikes and they take them, I think the last one they did was out east in Canada. So they get off the plane and boom, their bikes are waiting there for them, which
Yeah,
is kind of cool, right?
probably costs a fortune nowadays, but that was 20 years ago and it cost a fortune back then.
Yeah.
But they got high miler at the bike show.
Oh yeah. Congratulations, Michelle. I just see she came in first for the female section. Good for her.
Yeah.
Way to
And
go, Crazy Frog.
14,000 is nothing to sneeze at either.
Nope.
Nothing to sneeze at all. What's that? Oh, yeah, that's what he said. It plugs in the bike. Yep.
Ah, interesting.
See, in Canada, we could. In America, a lot of guys talk about, go from Georgia to California. It's coast to coast. It's a
Yeah.
long ride.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot longer to go coast to coast up here, even the middle of August.
I would think so, yeah. Yeah.
I don't think I'd be giving it a try. Now, after someone's become a member, and maybe this isn't a good question. Now, maybe we'll skip. I'll just say like vetting if there's weird things in the record that you definitely don't want associated with your club. I take you deal with that, right?
Yeah. We would. Our executive team is really cool. They, Jen, who runs the Ontario group, and then Chris, her assistant, and then our national guys, Chooch and Jimmy. They're really good people when you need help and something like that happens. So, they'll go in and they'll work with the teams to do any investigation that they need to and make a decision from that point. So,
Right.
are there any chapters in Jersey or New York? I'm not 100% sure, but I know we can look that up really quick. If somebody else wants somebody in the...
So she went from Memphis, the Niagara to Memphis, via the Ozark. Oh, that would have been a great ride, Jen.
That was for the national rally, wasn't it, Jen?
That was
I
for your
believe
big
it was. Yeah, so in addition to the Canadian kind of thing that we have in Port Severn, there's a national rally every year where um, they'll pick a different location. So it's usually in a different state every year.
And what is Memphis considered home? You said that's where the first one
That's
came
where
from,
the first
right?
one came from, yeah. And so in the US they do a lot of work with St. Jude's Hospital.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah. There it is.
I love their commercials. They seem like one of the only places that let you and your kid and everybody go home with no bill.
Yep.
And that's big down there in the States. Yeah, go ahead. Did you find it?
I did. So we have chapters in New Jersey and New York.
Beautiful.
So.
And if you want, we can share the Canadian part of the website.
Yeah. And so to our U.S. friends that are looking in Jersey and New York, if you want to just type into the chat there, let me know what would be kind of a close city. I'm seeing for Jersey, I've got Union Beach, Dorchester, Eatontown, Wantage, and then in New York, New York has quite a few. We have, Bimington, Nassau, Dresden, Batavia, Tonawanda, Rochester. So definitely, if you go to Southern Cruisers or Southern SCRCnational.com, you can find a chapter in one of those two states for you.
And here's the Canadian version of the website for everyone. And no dues or fees, eh?
Nope, no dues or fees. It's one event a year, like I said. And it doesn't have to be a riding event. If you're not able to make it that year because something happens and you're not able to do a lot of riding, come to a dinner, come to a games night, come to, a breakfast and just kind of hang out. So that's our Oakville chapter. Yeah.
I was just looking for Angie's face in there because I know she's from around there. I just don't know what chapter she's in. She mentioned it, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think that's cool. And the biggest thing with with you guys in the riding clubs is it says it right there. It's not a huge commitment.
No,
Now
no.
somebody's. Oh, go ahead.
And Albert brings up a really good point too. Like not just two wheels. We have, a lot of people that ride trikes. The Can-Am Spider has become a real popular bike with a lot of our members.
It really has, and we like to give them shit and make fun of them.
Yeah,
but it still gets you out there in the wind.
Still gets you out there in the wind. My wife rides. She drives a Can-Am Riker, and that thing is a riot to ride there. I'll take it out sometimes just because it's a lot of fun. It's like a street legal quad that'll do 140 kilometers an hour. It's amazing.
That fast, eh?
Yeah.
Now, do they feel funny when you steer them? Have you rode it?
A little bit. If you're used to like counter steering on a motorcycle, it definitely takes some getting used to. But if you've ever ridden like a four-wheeler at any speed, that's exactly what it is. So John, where the club is the Southern Cruisers Riding Club.
No. She's gonna trade in her bike already.
Wow. She's gonna get another Can-Am.
Look at that ride Steve's been on. He's been to Boston, LA. That'd be a hell of a ride.
Yeah. No, that's definitely not for the weak.
Yeah, that'd be a hell of a ride. I don't even know if I'd be out of that one.
Yeah. You definitely want to plan it. She is Oakville. I thought so. Yeah. You're definitely going to want to plan like a couple of days, right? Like you're not going to try to do that as like an iron butt or a bun burner or anything like that. That's more of a pleasure trip.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to have a set amount of miles that you want to do each day sort of thing, right?
No.
It'd kill you. And the way we used to ride when I was in the 1% club, you wouldn't want to do that ride in those packs. Man, we were full on all the time.
I was going to say, you were probably full throttle as far as,
This far apart, it seemed like. You had to have all your senses going all the same, no lacking concentration at any point. But you should be like that on a bike anyway.
That's one of the reasons I love it is because it forces you to be in the moment. You can't be on a motorcycle thinking, what am I going to do later on tonight? Or, man, that really ticked me off at work today when this happened or anything like that. Right. That's how you get dead.
Or glancing, even taking a quick glance, because now we all put our phones on our handlebars like a bunch of dummies.
Yeah. Yeah, glancing at your phone so I went so far as I did some modifications to my bike so I could get wireless CarPlay in my bike. So now I leave my phone in my pocket and I have it all on the little touchscreen at the front of the street glide. So, but even then, I usually just set, like if I'm using it for GPS and leading a ride, I'll set the thing and then I just leave it. Or if I set it on music, I just hit shuffle and whatever comes up. I don't play around with it too much because you're right. That's how you end up dead.
That's the funniest thing about Harley radios. As soon as I was 10 minutes out of London, I couldn't get the London station anymore.
Yeah.
So you got to have some tunes in your phone.
Yeah.
Because what's the sense having all them speakers if you ain't listening to them?
The antenna I found on the Harleys leaves a lot to be desired.
Well, whoever I got the bike from put one of those stubby ones on the back fender, right?
Yeah, that makes it even worse. You're not getting anything.
But I used to laugh at them guys when they rolled up beside me at the stoplight, and all you could hear was some weird disco music. What are you doing?
Yeah. I was the same way when I first started riding. I was like, oh no, I want to hear the bike. Now I'm not even down the street before I got the radio going. I just love it.
And I guess after you've been riding enough years, you kind of know when it's time to shift.
Yeah.
You don't need to listen for it. You're not riding into the red line anyway.
No.
What do you want to do?
All the bikes now also have a limiter on it, right?
Yeah, they cut them off on you. Yeah. Exactly.
So you get that tat tat tat, and then went too far.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it bogs out on you. Nothing more frustrating when you're trying to look cool, and your stupid bike bogs down on you before you shift in a second.
Yeah. It's almost as bad as stalling at a light.
Well, I've done that a couple times in my life.
I've done that more times than I'd like to admit. Yeah.
or doing a big pass with your buddy and finding out he had enough room and you didn't. Oh,
Yeah.
at least in Canada, most of the people are a little forgiving for us.
Yeah. Yeah, you hear a lot of horror stories and that, but I will say, at least in the Windsor Essex area, maybe because there is a lot of riders and a lot of different clubs, is there's a pretty good level of respect here. When we're riding, I mean, we still hear 3 or 4 times a year somebody going down in the Windsor Essex area, but it's never. It's not like some of the other places I've heard where it's like 3 or 4 a day. We tend to have, there seems to be a good balance here. So, and yes, shout out to Chatham Kent, our newest chapter.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You got Dynabro Life. Everyone makes fun of the Dynas, eh?
Yeah. So Ride and Seek. So this was actually a really cool event that we put on this year. This was our first year doing it. So what we did was we gave a list of 30 landmarks in the Windsor Essex area. And it was $20 to participate. And you had to go and get a picture of you in your vest at those landmarks. And you had to submit the picture on Facebook. And then at the Christmas party, we're going to give everyone every picture that you submitted, you're going to get to roll a dice. And the person who has the highest number, like cumulative score on the dice, is going to win $100 from the club. So, and some great pictures. We've also got a little prize that we're putting together for most creative. And what was really cool is it really got people out riding. It really got people out kind of, because you couldn't do it on a big group ride. We're not going to pull an entire pack over because you saw a windmill and you needed that one. Right. So it forced people to go out in smaller groups. It forced them to go out by themselves. And Lauren, who mentioned that, she was actually she was the first person to get all 30 photos this year. So she was the first one to get all 30 of them done. And we had some great ones, and we're already starting to think up of new landmarks and things we're going to do for next year for that. So if anybody in a club is looking for a cool idea to get people riding, definitely Ride and Seek is one that we loved. And we actually created a patch for it. And I've actually got one right here. So when you participate, you get this patch right here, right? So it says SCRC Windsor 334 the year, and then it says Ride and Seek. So everybody who participated in Ride and Seek this year is getting one of these to go on their vest, which is kind of cool. So
I think that is cool. So you guys got lots of ideas out there for keeping people with their motorcycles on their mind.
Yeah, keeping it interesting and keeping people. We've kicked around different ideas like safety courses and doing. Can you get some advanced level training courses and stuff, and then so we're looking into some things like that. One thing I kicked around, and I haven't really spent a lot of time on it though, I would love to do a track day. I would love to find a place that we could go and rip around on a track. I think would be a ton of fun.
In a circle or a drag race?
No, like a MotoGP track, and do an actual track day where you get some instruction on proper ways to corner on a racetrack and things like that, but then go out and do some hot laps. And
I wonder, with you being from Welland, because there's a motorcycle club down there and they have a racetrack, they have race nights. Welland County that may MC, be something. Isn't that what they're called?
Yeah, that may be something to look at. Yeah. And you definitely could see people getting way too serious about Ride and Seek. So that's why we tried to make it super easy and super fun and get creative, have some fun with it. But originally we were like, well, only if you got all 30 pictures would you get the patch. And then we didn't want to make sure people didn't feel left out. So we, basically if you paid your money to participate, you got the patch. So, kind of didn't want to hurt any feelings. But
well, I think that's one of the better ideas. It's just stuff like that to keep people. We always had kilometer things that we had to have this many Ks on in a year, where you got punished or whatever. But it's not the same sort of thing where you want to punish people.
No, it's definitely a carrot versus stick approach, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And this one that Albert's talking about, I'm going to put that in one of my upcoming videos, because I think maybe that's a good idea for a lot of riders to have a little
Huge.
first aid.
Huge. We have 5 or 6 members in our chapter that have first aid kits on their bike. So we try to make sure that on every ride, at least one person has a first aid kit, and then yeah, definitely you want people to have first aid, certification in case something, God forbid, something does happen. Yeah, everyone does. Yeah, see, I think that would be just so much fun. Like
I think so too.
just to rip, you see, I don't know if you guys ever watched the King of the Baggers series. That's some of the.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. These guys are ripping around on these giant Harleys and Indians, and I was like, oh man, that would be so much fun.
I advertised a bunch of those races over the summer just passed. They look like they'd be fun to get to. That they're on the
Yeah.
tracks kind of east of Toronto usually though.
Yeah. If you get a chance, look them up on YouTube. King of the Bagger series, like they race Daytona, they race, just some crazy tracks, and they're these modified deckers, and yeah, that would be a lot of fun to go to one of those.
Yeah, like I say, they brought them to Canada. Shannonville track had it. I think the one in Bowmanville had it. So it was mostly east of Toronto, but they brought them to Canada anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You can catch some of them races up here live.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
I'm trying to think. There's a club I think out by a riding club out by Peterborough, and they would go to it as a group, right?
Yep.
Keep everyone interested, and of course,
absolutely.
If you wanted to go straight real quick for a quarter mile, you can. I think you can rent the St. Thomas strip.
Yeah.
Let's bite down.
Right. Literally mind blowing. I know. You see that they tell you the Harley's only got like a 28 degree lean angle, and then you see what these guys do on those, and it is insane.
They got to shorten the bags and move the exhaust, don't they?
They do, yeah. So they I think the bags are I think 2 inches higher. I think they shorten them and then raise them 2 inches, and the exhaust is moved. They use almost all of them run a 2-into-1. So
I don't know how many floorboards and stupid things I've scraped off the ground trying to be cool.
yeah. You usually go through at least one pair before you realize that nobody else cares except you.
Stevie's still busting on the Dyna Bros. See, my first bike ever was an FXR, which of course morphed into a Dyna, right?
Yeah.
So if ever I'm in need of a bike that doesn't have to cost $12,000, I'll look at a Dyna.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. And it's funny because you said the FXR, and then that's now morphed with the Softail lineup. That's the Lowrider ST. Now they took the FXRT fairing off of the old Willie G style, and kind of remorphed it and put it on a Lowrider S.
I get it. So I've never owned a bike that wasn't rubber mounted. But I guess they pretty much all are now, aren't they?
Yeah. I got a couple of buddies that ride. One guy's got a Street Glide. It's a twin cam, and we'll pull up to a light. And I've got a Milwaukee 8, so mine's rubber mounted. And we'll pull up to a light, and his bike looks like it's about to shake apart, and mine, the handlebars are just barely moving. Right. So.
I rode a Brothers Softail from London to Ottawa and back, and I couldn't feel the end of my fingers for a couple of days.
That'll do it. Yeah.
I'm like, how do you ride this thing, bro? I didn't ever realize, because like you say, everything I ever owned was rubber mounted. I didn't know and now they're mounted, and they got a harmonic balancer, and they've done what they could to get the shake out of them.
Yeah.
I remember going back along the highway and picking up his license plate and getting the thing that covered his horn and all that stuff, picking him up off the shoulder for him.
Yeah, they've really done a lot of work, especially with the Milwaukee 8s, in terms of smoothing out that vibration, and it's not as bad.
Yeah, so this fella here, Mike, he's got his own channel on YouTube. Actually, he's given me lots of advice and helping and help me get everything going over on my end. And he was in a bad bike wreck in California, and lost the bottom half of his knee, or
Oh
bottom half
wow.
of his leg from the knee down, right? So actually, I had him on the interview with Angie because she's like born limb different, and then he had an accident, so they actually have more to speak about. But I tell you, very very inspirational person. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's I don't know from that experience or just because that's how he is, but he's there and he's encouraging and he's seeing the good and spreading the good. You know what I mean?
that's
He,
awesome.
he's got a good
That's
shine to him.
exactly,
That's
yeah.
what I always tell him. And a lot of these people in the chat, or I've met him through the chats on his channel.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So if you ever think of it, it's oh god damn it, Wheels, Insane Wheels,
Insane
or Mike,
Wells.
yeah, or Bob Val TV
All right.
on Insta and all that. Now, do you guys? Because all this social media stuff is crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's somebody I haven't.
Bruce, I love your Softail too.
Yeah.
Bruce is another one of my members, and his bike is his Softail is just gorgeous. It is stunning. We went to in the summer. We went to his house for a big barbecue, and there was probably a good 20 minutes there. We were just all standing around looking at his Softail. Like that is just beautiful. So
It's
yeah,
good to see Bruce. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not putting down a Softail, but when it's my money going to buy the bike I want, you know what I mean? I'd probably
yeah,
buy a Dyna first. That's just
yeah.
my
Well, it's
personal thing,
different
right?
strokes for different folks, right?
Yeah,
So
man.
it's all in what you like, and you know.
And boy, you can deck him out, make him look beautiful, can't you?
Oh yeah, yep.
You really, really can. Yeah. No, I like everything you guys stand for. Um,
Thanks, man.
what's your bike night in Windsor is Wednesday, right?
Yeah, so we do our weekly meetup on Wednesday. So we meet in Windsor if you're in the Windsor Essex area. So Manning and 42. There's a Tim Hortons and there's a couple of gas stations there. So we meet at the Tim Hortons there. We usually show up anywhere between quarter after 5, 5:30, and then we'll kickstands up right at 6, and ride around for a bit. But if even if the weather's bad, we'll all just show up and just hang out and just have coffee and just
Well, there's another group that I'm friendly with over Facebook and stuff. The handwriters group up, and they're kind of up around Walkerton way, right?
hmm
So they get a little more snow than we get. And in the winter, they get together every Saturday and just have coffees
yeah.
at a particular restaurant, right?
Yeah. So we do a monthly breakfast. So usually the first Sunday of every month we'll get together as a group to local place and we'll have breakfast. And then we'll do a dinner once a month, and then we do a games night, which is each members will take turns hosting. So sometimes it'll be at somebody's house and we'll play cards and we'll order pizza and just kind of hang out. And then other times people will be like, hey, we're gonna go play pool at a pool hall, or we're gonna go throw axes, or we're gonna go,
Yeah.
So it's just something to for us to get together and kind of have some fun and kind of help get through the colder months where we can't ride.
Right. And stay in touch.
And stay in touch. Exactly.
Stay in touch because, when you start to get a lot of members and stuff, you can lose touch with a couple guys and they feel left out.
Yeah.
And it's not intentional.
Yeah.
You know what
Exactly.
I mean?
What kind of bike am I on? I am on a 2020 Street Glide, Harley Davidson Street Glide. That is my bike.
A 2020.
Yeah, 2020
Nice.
Street Glide. Yeah, and all black and chrome, and yeah.
I don't know. My last one was a Street Glide too. I love that bike.
Yeah.
And the guy did all the work. He had headers, true dual exhaust, all that stuff. I think he had a tuner under the seat. And I just put gas in it and kept riding it.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, I bought
beautiful.
mine used to, and it had a stage 1 done to it, so it had the air intake and the exhaust, and the bars were redone, and so it wasn't down low, it was nice and high. And since then I've kind of made it my own, changed out floorboards, things like that. I put a stage 2 in, gave myself the cam upgrade, and so now it's obnoxiously loud. And and then some decals and stuff, and kind of made it my own.
That's what I love. I think that's what everyone owns a Harley loves about the Harley because at some point you hit it to that's the bike I had in my head.
Yeah,
And even if it
exactly.
wasn't what you had in your head at the start, it's what you had in your head at the end.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The aftermarket on the Harleys is I think really what drives a lot of the consumerism there. Um, because you can take a bike and it, you think of like a Softail Standard or even a Dyna, and they're blank canvases, right?
Yeah.
You can do all sorts of stuff with them, and you can really kind of make them your own, even if you're not into airbrushing or things like that. Just by changing out,
Mhm.
floorboards even adds a whole new look to it.
Yeah, man, it doesn't take much. Even change the crash bars, change the highway pegs, like you
Yeah,
say, it doesn't take much.
yeah,
Set of bars,
yeah. Road King's nice. I do like the Electra Glide, which is basically a street glide with lowers. But
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Road King's nice. My brother rides a Road King.
The only difference with the Road King basically is the fairing stays fixed, right? It doesn't turn with the
That's the
front.
Road Glide. Yeah,
Oh,
the
the
Road
Road
Glide
Glide,
is
that's
yeah,
that one.
road.
Okay,
Yeah, the Road King has no fairing,
that's
so
one with the
it's
no fairing but hard bags.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's the
Oh
one
yeah,
that you
those are
would put. Yeah.
they're kind of classic looking, right?
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
I mean they used to do one called the Road King Classic where it was, it had the old police style windshield and it was all chromed out, and yeah, it was a nice looking bike.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Harley, and if you want to make them fast, well, you don't have to go that fast on a Harley anyway. But it's mostly down to making it breathe, right? The cam, the exhaust, and the intake, and away you go.
Well, that's just it. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, my bike will do 160. It doesn't need to go any faster than
My mud,
that.
my got a 19 CVO Street Glide. Holy Christ, that thing was hard to keep up to.
Oh yeah, yeah. Doug, I love your Street Glide too, Chooch. That bike is hand painted. It is absolutely stunning.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I'm gonna bring a guy on who's an airbrush guy for an interview here in London. He does some great work. That guy. I
Perfect.
imagine I don't know how long your bike's got to be tore apart for to get all that stuff done, but you know,
I think it depends on the project, like how detailed and intricate you want to go. Like if you're just doing some pinstriping or anything, I mean, it probably wouldn't take too long. But
yeah.
yeah,
There we go. Yeah, man, that one was that guy was a fast one. That is that what the CVO means? It's a 121. It must be
yeah,
a.
yeah. The CVOs have a 121. The new last year CVO had it's the one with the variable valve timing, and so that thing is race tuned. It's ridiculous. But then
Oh,
this year, now Harley put, the 121 is still in the CVOs. The STs have the 117, but you can get a crate motor that'll take it to a 131,
I was gonna say I
135
thought I
even.
seen him in the store with a 130 on this on stamped on the side of the
Yeah,
moon.
that thing
Yeah,
is a fire breathing dragon,
that,
right?
that's a lot of bike.
Yeah, yeah, right. I mean,
Yeah.
sport bike riders may not think that, but when you think of the torque behind what's going into that bike, yeah.
I don't know. I've never had a Harley that I thought, obviously sport bikes are quicker off the get going and they fly. There's nothing wrong with a sport bike. It's just not my
No,
style of bike, right?
no, same here.
So you guys will ride right beside a guy with a ninja
Oh,
and all
yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff.
If as long as they're not riding like obnoxiously,
Yeah.
like I'd have no problem. Like if somebody wanted to join the chapter on a sport bike, I'd have no issue as long as they kind of understand. Like, okay, we're going to ride as a group. Don't peel off at 9,000 RPM and then wait for us to catch up. Don't you're going to drive like that? Then
Yeah.
that's not the
Now,
type of thing we want.
now that being said, what do you think the median age is for your members? Just as a guess.
If I had to guess right now, we're probably in our mid 40s would be
Hmm.
kind of my thought. But especially Windsor Essex, we're getting a lot more younger members recently. So it's kind of you know, guys are getting their first Harleys and they're kind of seeing what's out there. And, you know, like we've probably had this year alone, Windsor's probably had 10 or 12 new members join in. And most of those guys are all sub 40 in
Actually,
age. So
that's a lot of people in 1 year.
yeah,
Yeah.
we've been pretty blessed. We
That,
like I said, the new officer group kind of coming in and throwing in you know, different ideas, and then people that we've ridden with before. So, you know, you kind of like, hey, I'm with Southern Cruisers now, and then they show up and then they bring, you know, 2 or 3 of their friends, and you know, so
and it's nice to get some younger heads in there because they've got younger ideas.
yeah.
And they're not a bad thing, especially with social media and stuff.
Yeah,
Did,
exactly.
did, did you guys put like one person volunteer to say, I'll take care of the social media for our chapter?
Well, I don't know if volunteer is the word I would use, but he became our new third officer, Kenny. He when he became third officer, that was kind of the role we gave him. Was, you know, he's really good with social media. Him and his fiance make amazing videos when we're doing our rides
Awesome.
and stuff. So we kind of said, you know what, that is your niche, and that's, so he makes sure, like, you know, we make sure that we're posting about where our rides are, where, you know, when we're meeting. He makes sure, you know, he'll message me and remind me, like, if I need to be posting about something. And, you know, so he's really on top of that stuff. So it's been a blessing for sure, because I'm not a social media guy. You know,
Right.
I'm not a huge proponent of it. So to have somebody who is like, you know, hey, make sure you do this, and, you know, posting on our behalf and throwing up, you know, this is where we are, this is where we're meeting, this is the time, you know, so on and so forth. So,
Especially if they get good at that editing software, which I suck at.
oh yeah, yeah,
So I
no,
do
his
everything, it
videos are
goes in
great.
one take or whatever,
Yeah, yeah. So
right?
it's funny because, you know, we'll be out on a group ride or something, and, you know, they'll be taking pictures the whole day, right? Different things, and then, you know, the next day we'll up on our Facebook page will be this, you know, awesome video of you know, of the day, and kind of, you know, all the different kind of things that you know, yeah, it kind of happens. So it's very cool. Yeah, he was definitely voluntold.
Well, that oh yeah, okay, that's what that said.
Yeah,
That's what one of the guys on one of the other biker news was saying. It's almost at the point where you need a social media officer position within
yeah,
your officers, right? Which
yeah.
isn't a bad idea.
No, and that was one of the ideas that we kind of ran with, was when you know, my second officer, Gunner, he runs the road captains and tail gunners, right? So he makes
Yeah.
sure we've got guys for rides. He's responsible for making sure anybody who's interested in becoming a road captain or a tail gunner is, you know, understands, you know, has gone through training and is, you know, been quote unquote certified to lead a ride or to tail gun a ride. Um, you know, so he runs that, and then Kenny runs all of the social media stuff, and making sure that we're constantly open and honest in our communication with the club. So
Oh yeah, and that's important too. You got to be open and honest, and you don't want to post something that's bullshit, and then I get a whole bunch of people that come out there and call you on it.
yeah, exactly,
You know.
exactly, and I mean, not perfect. We you know, we make mistakes, and but as long as you're open and honest and own up to it, I don't think you're ever going to have an issue.
Right, right. And you guys aren't, posting anything that's going to wreck someone's reputation
No,
or,
definitely
or,
not.
or, or ruin someone's life. You know what I mean? Like some posts on social media can get downright crazy.
Yeah,
The,
yeah.
the things that get said about other people is like, wow, I would have thought it was a little harder before they said it. But it is what it is out there.
Yep.
But no, I'm glad that I got you guys on for an interview because it's one of the bigger clubs that I know of that's a riding club. And there may be bigger ones, but I'm not aware of as far as chapters in different places and members. And like your one brother said, it's worldwide. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's a cool thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, we have, one of the things you'll see on our website is we have Eagle Rescue, which is, you know, people can sign up to be part of that as being a member of Southern Cruiser. So then if you're in an area and your bike breaks down, right, you can contact Eagle Rescue, and they will, there'll be somebody locally that'll help get your bike to a dealership or get it towed, or help you, make sure that you're safe and sound. So it really pays to be part of a real big club like that, because you've got someone to ride with anywhere, like any place I'm going. If I know there's a chapter there, I reach out to the officer and say, hey, I'm going to be in town, and we'll either get a ride together or even just meet for coffee or something. So
Yeah.
yeah, very, very important.
No, no. That like you say, that's such a great positive. You guys, do you guys get involved with any of the not club politics? I mean, like our laws and stuff like that. Do you guys get involved with the biker rights stuff and the biker down stuff? Like, there's so many different
No.
things you get involved with, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of it. I personally haven't. I'm not sure if Southern Cruisers as a whole has. But I mean, we're all for advocating for the safety of riding and for riders' rights for sure. So
Absolutely. Especially we got to get something to get people to stop looking at their cell phones when there's motorcycles. Well, stop
that
looking at their cell phones. Period.
yeah, since I started riding, that nothing frustrates me more. Even when I'm in the car, if I drive by and I see somebody on their phone, I'm just like, you son of a,
Yeah, yeah. Because even people that have been driving for 30, 40 years, it's just that distraction. That's
yeah,
all it is that distraction. And a person on not a guy, a person on a motorcycle, it's the difference between life and death.
yeah, exactly.
And it was a pretty bad summer. Then that was another thing, trying to figure out how to do a biker news Canada. So if it's on the internet, I'll say a piece on it. And it's usually so and so from that club got arrested for that.
Hmm.
That's all you find, right?
Yeah,
So when I read the story, I read it from a biker's point of view, which is allegedly, and it sounds more like it was this. And, sometimes it is what it is, but I'm not there in the courtroom. I don't know.
no,
So I don't want to put my own opinion on what it is.
no, you can't. But you can't anything, any story, new journalism, anything like that. You definitely can't put a personal opinion or color the story. My
Right,
son is he's a journalist in London. That was his big thing, was making sure, like, he always wanted to work from an integrity standpoint. If he does not, whether he likes the person or doesn't like the person, he does not color the commentary on his reporting. And
right.
he's interviewed, the premier of Ontario. He's
Oh,
interviewed,
cool.
some pretty, he was at a Justin Trudeau press conference there the one time, and I mean, two opposite sides of the spectrum, and he was just very, these are the facts of the, you know.
Well, maybe one day we'll get that tunnel under the 401.
Oh, that'd be cool.
The craziest things people come up with, eh?
Yeah.
I said that from the start when that guy got elected was, I wonder if he's going to remember that he's the premier of all of Ontario.
Not just Toronto. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We got beer in the corner store and I don't drink anymore.
Yeah, Steve, you are exactly right. The news and coming out of the U.S., I tend to stay away from it if I can.
Oh, especially this
It's,
elections cycle, eh? Wow.
I mean, I'm not gonna. I hate to see families being upset and mad at each other just because of a policy here or a policy there.
Right. Right. When all the most important stuff is going on the other side of the world, that's going to affect us in larger
Yeah.
ways. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
I saw this meme somebody posted on Facebook the other day. It said, the left doesn't care about us, the right doesn't care about us. Shut your mouth and ride your bike, and it was a picture of a biker,
Right.
right? So it's like,
Right. I did a meme like that with a
there you
picture of
go.
my bike, and it was, less politic and more riding.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah,
Yeah, that's right, Steve. Hopefully, oh yeah, I can get on some mornings if I don't have any work to do. I can jump from chat room to chat room on these different lives that other guys like Mike and Black Dragon and guys do, and argue all day about politics.
oh yeah.
And I don't know why I bother. It's not like I can vote in the states.
No, Just yeah.
And it's not like I'm talking to someone, I'm going to change their mind.
No,
You
and I
know what I
think that's the
mean?
thing is we've gotten, somewhere down the line, people have forgotten that it's okay to have difference of opinions, and you know, it's okay to not agree and still be friends, right?
Yeah, I
They
think you're
should
right,
buy
Mike.
back the 407. I totally agree with that.
100%.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
yeah.
And it's got what's it got, a 99-year lease or something
It's yeah.
to that
And have you
company
been
from
on it
France?
lately? Have you been
No,
on it lately? It's
not
actually
since I
starting to
lived in
fall
Toronto.
apart. Like they're not
Really?
putting any
Well,
money into it.
they built
Yeah.
a lot of it out of cement instead of asphalt too.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of the live lanes. I was wondering how long that'd last.
Yeah. They're my understanding is they're not putting any of the money they're getting on the tools, and not a lot of it's going back into fixing it. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty much it. Hockey, Labatt Blue, and Poutine. Yep, you got it.
Mike's right about that. The reason I argue is because it's addicting. I think I admit he's right about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Because,
would agree.
like I say, I know I'm not changing anyone's opinion, and I can't vote down there. Yes, my point is whatever happens down there affects us, especially your city.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know,
especially the border cities for sure.
yeah.
So
But I don't know how many car plants we have anymore in Canada anyway. Like big ones that employ thousands and thousands anymore.
Windsor does. Windsor, I mean, we still have Chrysler. We still have
Oh,
the assembly plant here with the Pacificas, and um, where they're building the Stellantis battery plant here now, and so yeah, lots of manufacturing still here in Windsor, Essex.
Steve Harvey. Now he does Family Feud. Now how's that battery plant coming?
I haven't been buying a bit, but it was coming along pretty good last time I saw it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I joined I'm a gas fitter. I got my own little company here, do furnaces and water heaters and whatnot, but I'm a pipe fitter by trade.
Mm-hmm.
So I joined that union just on the internet. And the guy called me that same day and he's like, hey, you want to work at the battery plant in St. Thomas when it's ready? And sure, why not? Well, whatever.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, you still got 10 years to pay into the pension. I'm like, yeah, let's do it because I'm not sitting on no pension right now.
Yeah.
So if it
Yeah,
means
definitely.
closing up my company to go get 10 years of a pension, it probably wouldn't hurt my feelings.
Yeah, no, especially like you said, getting a pension, right?
And there's what, 3 years of work down there? They
Oh,
want
easily.
300 pairs of boots just in that union when they're ready. That's how many they want to come. So whatever, I'll be one of them.
That's awesome. Good stuff. Good for you.
Yeah, man. It's just wish they'd call one of these days, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's gonna keep on. They're gonna keep on doing what they do.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like we got a big. We elect them in, and then they're gonna do what they're gonna do anyway. Look at when Trudeau legalized weed. It was like, yay, it's legal. And then he made it so complicated to get into the industry that the only people that are in the industry are people coming in the side door that they didn't want in, or people that are already wealthy. You can't be an average Joe and go open a dispensary. It's very hard to. So, where are we? We've done the how to join.
Yeah.
We've done the bike nights.
Yeah, we've done all the fun things that we do.
Yeah.
Shot the bull for an hour and a half.
See, I knew it would go long because I knew that we were going to get along.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is there anything that we missed that you wanted to mention?
No. Steve has a question. One more question. Do you guys have mandatory runs? No, none of the runs that we have are kind of mandatory, but we do encourage, especially ride of the year. So whatever chapter is hosting ride of the year is definitely one that we would encourage folks to go to, and then the end of year bash in Port Severn is one we definitely would. But other than that, there's really nothing mandatory. How do you choose the name on your vest? Well, it's one of two ways it happens, at least within my chapter, is you have a very small window where you can pick your own. And usually when you first join, we'll let you pick your own name if you've got one, if you got a nickname you people like to use, and that, or something will happen and you will get one, and that will be that. And it is usually handled by, I usually am one of the ones that'll come up with it, or so Lauren, for example, in my chapter, she goes by Sunshine. Eddie is Fast Eddie, and then we've got one of our riders name's Jen. She's actually blind, and she rides on the back of her husband's bike, and she goes by. We've started affectionately calling her Dee Dee. Stands for designated driver.
Now, are the if a person like her is on the back, do they still get the same sort of patches and all that stuff?
Oh yeah, yep.
Oh,
If
that's cool.
if they join and become a member, you can be a member as long if you're a rider or a passenger. But if say it's just a boyfriend girlfriend, that's exactly right, Mike. The name usually does come from something that happened, and it sticks. And welcome, and that's that. You definitely earn the names for sure. The so yeah, as long as but if it's a boyfriend girlfriend situation, for example, and they break up,
Yeah.
yeah, Possum Slayer is another good one. The rider would stay, and the passenger, we would have to say, look, you can either get your own bike, or you know you got to go, kind of thing. So, but yeah, definitely somebody on the back, full member, no problem. Can't be an officer though. I think they got to be a rider to be an officer. Right. Possum Slayer's a good one. She hit that possum with her foot peg and did.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Look, we're getting
Yeah.
spammed. I won't
Yeah.
even flash
That's
that
how
one on the
she. That's
screen.
how she earned. That's how Mary, one of our road captains. That's how she earned the name Possum Slayer. Yeah.
Oh, here's another good one. Crazy Frog.
Yeah.
What do they wear?
Yeah.
Those furry things that go over their helmets?
I think she does. I haven't seen it, but possibly. Michelle, you're gonna have to comment on wear the crazy frog with your helmet.
Oh, maybe does she speak French?
I don't know. Right? But yeah,
No,
we've got some great names. No, she does not.
no, she doesn't.
We've got some folks with some great names. One girl, she drives a pink green. Sorry, it's a green Voyager, and so she goes by Pickle, right? And we've got Fast Eddie. We've got guy on a trike we call Tripod. You know, our tail gunner, one of our first tail gunners, he got the nickname Gunner, and so that kind of stuck. We got a guy named Fish, you know.
That's where she got her frog from.
Yeah, there you go, perfect.
Right on. We put up Steve's. Yeah, Steve's is he edited it for us.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some of the other ones. Like I've got, my wife bought me a book from Sonny Barger. It's like short stories. Yeah, we got a guy named Goose. Not because of Top Gun, but because we were getting ready to go on a ride, and he chased a flock of geese away so that we could get going. So we started calling him Goose. But son of the, I love that, a dog named Gunner. I'm gonna
Yeah,
let Gunner know that.
there's usually a gunner in most clubs, eh?
It's so funny though, but like this book that I've got from Sonny Barger, these short stories about different clubs and different things and stuff. Some of the names that they gave these guys, I'm like, oh, you did not like that person at all.
Oh yeah.
Right?
I had
Stinky
a guy in
Pete.
my outfit called Turtle because he was the slowest. If you called that guy to get over, and that was as a prospect. It took him I called him Turtle.
Yeah, that's usually how it happens, right? Something happens, and you know,
He
yeah,
didn't like Turtle.
always.
He wanted to be Tommy Gun, but Turtle suited him much better.
Yeah, yeah. I think when something like that happens and you get a name, it's no longer your choice. Like that's what happens, right?
It's like that old Seinfeld episode when George wanted to be called T-Bone.
Yeah, right.
You don't get to pick your own nickname.
Yeah. No,
It's,
it's got to
and
be
it's
given
not
to you.
how, yeah, man, it's
Yeah.
how it goes. It's a life thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. No, I'm glad. I'm so glad that you came and wanted to do this.
Yeah. My pleasure.
Like I say, if there's anything else you want to get out there,
No, I think I am good.
yeah,
I appreciate the opportunity, and yeah, if you guys are ever in the Windsor area, feel free to reach out, and we'll set something up, even if it's just coffee, and we'll get together, and if we can ride, if it's a good time to ride, let's definitely ride. But if you are in the Windsor Essex area and looking to be part of a club, I mean, definitely come check us out.
no, I didn't, and I'd recommend your club to anyone. And I still haven't met any of you in person. It's just from the different people I have met who are already involved.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like yourself, like Angie, and like say Chris from Barry. We've been back and forth over Messenger. I'll
yeah,
get him on because he can come and tell us what the Barry chapter does, right?
yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
I'm
they're
gonna
actually
get.
hosting Ride of the Year next year in Barrie. So
Oh
they're the
yeah,
ones
you were
on for next
saying
year.
that,
So that'll be yeah,
right? Thank you, Mike. Thank you,
yeah,
guys.
thank you.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm gonna try to get the Axemen from Windsor, not to be a club dropper name, but I thought they were pretty interesting, being a club made up of firemen.
Yeah, yeah, I think those specialized clubs are always really cool where you see
Yeah.
that then or the military, the veterans, and yeah. So
Yeah, yeah,
very,
lots
very
of vet
awesome.
stuff going on out there.
Yeah,
Well, we're getting close to the Poppy Day, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well,
All right, guys.
I think that I will let you go.
All right.
And I thank you very much for coming on. I
My
thank you,
pleasure.
Marcus. And reach out anytime. Send me anything you got for any upcoming events, and I'll get it into one of my take shows.
All right. Will do.
Okay.
Have a great
Much
day.
love, much love
Thank
and
you.
respect, brother.
You too, brother.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you for everyone who came by and joined us in the chat. It means the world to me, especially the people from the Southern Cruisers. That was awesome. You guys got involved. I thank you so much for joining us. Uh, thank you very much, Albert. I appreciate that, brother. And, you know, I'm always available for an interview. Get a hold of me, track me down, and Biker News Can on Facebook is the easiest way to find me. And thank you again, everyone. Much respect and love, and good night. Beautiful. That was really good, man.